on Kiwi.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Wine Vault Radio with Jason Bryant from winevaulttv.com.
I love the Fridays. I love the Friday morning. Jason Bryant from winevaulttv.com. Good morning to you, Jason.
Yeah, that sound of romance here.
Isn't it? It's beautiful.
It certainly is. And you've got a story for me, apparently.
I do have a little bit of a story just to kick things off this morning. What happened was this week. I don't normally get the newsletter. I need to sign up to the Wine Vault newsletter. But anyway, it was shared around Twitter. The story that you've written for the newsletter this week.
We've had a lot of complaints about it as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
It was just because what you do is with this newsletter, obviously you say what's good that week or what you found is pretty good in the shop, and you created a whole story around one particular wine.
Yeah.
Can you
Vidal Fleury Côte d'Aron.
Vidal Fleury Côte d'Aron.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was a great story.
Bloody, very, very good wine.
It's a bloody good story.
Yeah.
I recommend people go along to the Wine Vault site, the winevault.co.nz, and check out the story there and then sign up to the newsletter and do all that. But anyway, it made me go. I thought, oh well, heck, I'm going to go try this wine, right?
Yeah. And have you?
I have.
And did you?
I thought because I was going out to a wee dinner party, and so I stopped into the Wine Vault, picked this up. Man, I didn't even give a backstory about why I got it or anything. We just opened it up, we decanted it, and it blew the hostess away. Absolutely.
I tell you what, I tasted it because we weren't sure of the points in the end, and I tasted it, and oh my God, it rocks. Yeah, it rocks this world. And
it got a 98 points on the Robert Parker, who's America's most respected critic. Can you explain that? What's that?
For every year, it's basically marked out of 100. Yeah. So every year, kind of, he goes through and he kind of tastes all these wines, and especially he's really keen on Bordeaux and Rhône in France, and they're the two big kind of areas in France that he's really keen on. And he goes through and he declared the kind of vintage of 2007 a 98-point vintage. He said it's exceptional.
So that's of the area, not the particular wine.
Yeah.
But it just in general, that would cover all of them anyway.
Do you know what? We tasted that, and for me, that is kind of like 96, 98 points on that wine.
Yeah.
I thought
it was really nice, eh?
It was so in balance.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Is that what I was trying to work out? Because I was just going, well, it's just so smooth, very smooth.
Very
it's
smooth.
a little bit spicy, and
it had a lot going on in that bottle. On the nose, there was truckloads going on. Yeah. It was actually medicinal for me because I've been really ill during the week, and I tasted it on Wednesday.
Yeah, we can hear this. Sorry about
Tuesday or Wednesday.
And when you're ill.
It made me feel, for a period, really so much better.
Elevated, which is also kind of what the story is about.
Yeah. But there's a sequel to that. So if you sign up now, you get a sequel, and I've never been one for promo, but the sequel is quite funny as well. It's a bit shorter.
Did you write the story from scratch, or have you taken the story from somewhere else and then filled in your own bits?
I've got the premise from someone. Yeah. And I've filled in my bits.
Okay.
But I twisted it. There's a lot of twists in it.
Twisted the rules.
The next one is what I've written solely because I wanted to continue the theme of Ruby. Like Ruby for me. Because I did one last year all about vampires.
Yeah. The hot thing at the moment.
Which was the hot thing of kind of last Halloween and stuff like this, and oh my God, we got so many complaints.
Really? Yeah. Because people complain about your newsletter. That's how passionate they feel about it. Yeah. What, is it traditional customers
this one I had,
or who complains?
Customers that come into the shop, or they will send us an email saying, "This is playground humour." I think, we're in a big playground. The world's a big playground.
It's fun.
Come on, yeah. So
it's fun. Yeah. And people on Twitter and various other social medias, probably Facebook, were sharing this around. They love it.
Yeah, and that's what it should be.
Yeah.
So the next one is a bit shorter and it's a bit less. You've got to try to be everything to everybody on that.
Don't listen to the haters, man.
So I've kind of redressed a few.
No, you can't listen to the haters.
So anyway, I bought a Reserve Pinot Gris. Reserve is such an overused word in wine these days. It used to be that you used to reserve some wine until you had a really bad vintage, and then you bought that out, and that was the whole kind of definition of reserve wine. This is a Hawke's Bay Pinot Gris. Now, Montana back in 2004, 2005, bought 220 hectares of land and planted, and they put that under vine, and most of it was under Pinot Gris and Sauvignon Blanc. So they had that much of a kind of vision for Hawke's Bay producing really good Pinot Gris and Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
They released a little thing on the weekend that they were going to start making a fine wine, a Sauvignon Blanc fine wine, Montana, anywhere between $50 and $100. And I thought, geez, that's a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
It's almost an oxymoron, Montana fine wine, because they've dragged the price of most of the country's wines down to the doldrums.
There was actually a big story about that in the news this week, about some wine growers in Marlborough just going to get out of the business.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. A lot of these people have been kind of shafted by the big wineries and stuff, and there are a lot of mum and dad investors who have gone down there and wanted a kind of a cash crop, and grapes now aren't a cash crop. There's a lot of people in strife, and the industry's in trouble, and it's really, really, really serious.
There are two things there, isn't there? There was the extra supply of those grapes coming online, but also the economic crisis as well at the same time.
And so the overseas market's contracted, and like they did for everybody. And then obviously our dollar went up as well, and so that made life doubly difficult.
Yeah,
trying to sell your wares overseas and stuff like that, and there was an oversupply. And France is pretty close to the UK, and America makes its own wine, and so everybody's got on this environmental bandwagon, which is, I mean, it's real, and we do ship our wine from here to there. We have to ship it anywhere.
Well, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah,
it's got to get off the islands.
Yeah, exactly. And so people were buying kind of a lot more local, and our wine's always been a premium overseas and a premium priced. And then there are three or so wineries that have really, really undercut everybody because they've got large volumes to get rid of, and that has really undercut the New Zealand wine industry overall.
It's going to sort itself out over time, isn't it?
I mean, everything does, doesn't it? I mean, it's a bit like kind of water. Right now, it's a real kind of fluid market, and it'll all find its own level at some stage. But there will be a hell of a lot of people who suffer, and it's a real shame, because then it means that those bigger wineries get bigger and bigger, and then before you know it, you've only got one winery in your country. And
it's like the dairy industry.
Yeah, and then you've got wines that they choose to give you rather than are expressive of the sites.
Yeah.
So it has a real negative effect as well. Even though they're able to shift a lot more kind of wine overseas and stuff like this, and they have hell of a lot of different labels. I'd say that there's probably about 4 or 5 labels in this country that produce 95% of our wine. I mean, it's that big.
That's what happens if an industry becomes profitable. Big business will roll on in there.
Yeah, and they'll take it and soak it and bleed it dry, and then move on to the next country.
Get stuck into this big business wine.
Yeah, I mean, they do make some really, really good wine. Everybody thinks that I'm a big kind of bagger of kind of Montana, but actually, for me, it's about what's in the bottle.
At the end of the day, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah. That Sauvignon Blanc that got gold in the Air New Zealand, do you know, it was very good Sauvignon Blanc. It was technically good. It's not something I would choose to drink, but it's technically good. See, I quite like it.
Can you smell anything, Jason? Come on.
I get a soapy character off the nose. I get a soapy, almost kind of almond character off the nose.
That'll be the cold and flu drugs you're on.
Apart from those. What about you?
We say it quite a bit, but I'm getting a little bit grapefruity on there. I think I know what you mean by soapy, but dishwashy.
Yeah.
Could be the glass.
But I get that grapefruit on the palate. Jeez, that is quite strong, that kind of grapefruit pith on the palate. It's really in balance. It's got a lot of fruit sweetness there, and it's just slightly off dry.
Slightly off dry.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. I mean, to me, it epitomises Pinot Gris. Really, you drink this and you go, "That's Pinot Gris."
Yeah.
It's not Sauv.
No, it's definitely not Sauv.
Yeah.
You get quite a distinct flavour profile of this wine. You do get that kind of stone fruit, and for me, I get that kind of almond and also that grapefruit that you talk about. And I think for a Hawke's Bay Pinot Gris, We always associate kind of Pinot Gris with other places like Marlborough and Central Otago and Waipara.
What would you pair it up with?
I'm going to do shellfish.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to do a bit of kind of Moules Marinière, maybe a bit of kind of snapper, but kind of a bit of pan-fried snapper with a bit of salad.
Nice.
It's got some good acidity in the wine, so I mean it's not going to kind of be beaten by too much food.
Yeah. It's got its own little punch, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the female WWE wrestler. It's got its own little punch.
I like this. Really nice.
So
Even
do I.
on its own, just great.
Yeah, and I'm going to give that 87 points.
Marvellous.
Yeah, what would you give it?
Oh, well, I'd sit around the 80, 85 to 90, so yeah.
Yeah.
80, let's just say 85. I'll sit at the bottom of the scale of that, that range.
Yeah. But I think it's, and if you see it, I think it's under $20 anyway.
Brilliant.
So it's very good.
Jason Bryant, Wine Vault